So again, make sure you're checking those responses. Number 1 is D. Number 2 is C. And number 3 is D. So again, D, C, D. Any questions about why those are the correct answers? You can raise your hand or put them into the chat if you have any questions. Great, looks like we're all on the same page. Okay, I forgot to make a slide with today's word wall, but you will see the 4 terms for your word wall in your Google Doc. And I just put the 4 terms for the oral drill and our word wall into the chat. As usual, 3 minutes to review these 4 terms, and then we'll come back together to review them before we transition into document analysis. Take 3 minutes to review isolationism, 14 points, League of Nations, and Treaty of Versailles. Go ahead and get started. Ninety more seconds to review these terms. Get ready to come back together in 3. Great. What is isolationism? What is isolationism? Take 30 seconds, drop it in the chat. So again, 30 seconds, drop into the chat. What is isolationism? Awesome. Thank you, Mela. Thank you, Yabdi, for getting us started. Thank you, Arabia. Who set up this policy of isolationism? Who was the first guy that said stay out of foreign affairs? Drop it in the chat. Yes, Washington. Perfect. Yes, Washington told us to stay away from foreign affairs. And did we do that? No. So during World War I, Woodrow Wilson had a policy of the 14 points. What are the 14 points? I'm not asking for all 14. What is or are the 14 points? Kamaya.
It was Woodrow Wilson's statement for like peace and negotiations in America.
Yes. And the most controversial part of that was the League of Nations. What is the League of Nations? Drop it in the chat. Again, what is the League of Nations? Take 30 seconds in the chat. Yes, awesome. It was a coalition of these different major countries trying to stop further conflict. And finally, what was the Treaty of Versailles? Shakim, what is the Treaty of Versailles?
It was a treaty that ended World War One. It was attempted to keep peace between the nations.
Awesome. Yes. So today we are going to be taking a deep dive into the Treaty of Versailles, specifically the League of Nations. As we discussed earlier, the League of Nations is the most controversial piece of the Treaty of Versailles. And so today we are going to take a zoom in on why American senators opposed joining the League of Nations in 1919. Today, I want us specifically to focus on our significant statements. So those are the only things that you need to put into our annotation tracker. When you craft your significant statement, make sure that you're fully answering this question: why did senators oppose? So you're going to read statements from 4 senators, and in your significant statement, why did that senator oppose the League of Nations? You're going to have 14 minutes to, why is this not working? 14 minutes to read and annotate the documents and add your, that's the do now review, and add your, and add your significant statements into the tracker. I'm going to put the tracker into the chat. I see some of us are already in there. Thank you for being proactive. The tracker is in the chat. I'm now waiting for everybody to go ahead and open that up. Thank you. I have 7 of us in there. Should have 20. I have 10 of us, half of us are there. Go ahead and click on that link and find your box for document 1. Great, I have 12 of us. Take 15 more seconds to get yourself set up in the annotation tracker. 14, waiting on a few more. Still missing 5 people. Great, thank you. Getting a couple more. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. You guys are going to have 14 minutes to read and annotate these 4 documents. As always, be prepared for me to periodically pause and check in with you to see what we are noticing about these documents, and then we'll come back together for a full group discourse. If you have any questions, feel free to chat me at any point. You have 14 minutes to read and annotate these documents for their significant statement. Go ahead and get started. 14 minutes. I'm going to pause this very quickly. I'm looking at our document 1 significant statements, and I see some really awesome ones. I just want to push their quality. I see a lot of us are mentioning Washington's policies. What is Washington's policy? Put it in the chat. What is Washington's policy? Yes, Yabdi, perfect. Isolationism. So take 15 seconds, go back into your significant statement, and specifically wherever you said Washington's policies, put the word isolationism. That's going to really get the attention of any College Board reader. Perfect. Thank you, Shakeem, for getting that in there. Great. And before I send you back to the documents, I just want to clarify, document 2 is raw data. So for your significant statement for document 2, you need to interpret that data. What is that data telling you? And that's your significant statement for document 2. Just what is the data telling you about the senators and the League of Nations? You have 11.5 minutes left. Go ahead and go back to annotating. Let me know if you have any questions. 11 minutes and 20 seconds left. Eight and a half more minutes. 7 more minutes, we should be getting ready to join document 3. You have 4.5 more minutes. You should be finishing document 3 and transitioning to document 4. Two and a half more minutes. Everybody should be on document 4, and then we'll come back together for discourse. I'm really impressed with the thoroughness of the significant statements we've done today. I'm really proud of you guys. 90 more seconds. One more minute to finish up and then we'll come back together. One more minute. Fifteen more seconds, then we'll come back together. Okay. In the chat, I want you to take 30 seconds. What do you think is the main reason Republican senators did not approve of the League of Nations? Make sure you share it publicly so everybody can see your ideas. So in the chat, what do we think is the main reason why Republican senators opposed the League of Nations? Got 2 for isolationism. Take 15 more seconds. Make sure you're sharing in the chat. What do you think is the main reason? Most of us are siding with isolationism. Interesting. Can I hear from Giovanni and then Skyan? Giovanni, then Skyan.
I said the main reason was isolationism because the Republicans felt as if this would put America in danger, and yeah, they just wanted to stay out of foreign affairs.
What's a piece of evidence to support that, Giovanni?
In document 1, Senator Harry Cabot Law says, now the Washington policy is to be entirely laid aside, and we are to enter upon a permanent and indissoluble alliance. Let us not overlook the profound gravity of the step.
Awesome. And let's jump over to Skyan.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I said senators didn't want other nations to take control over America.
Mhm. And what's the piece of evidence you have that supports that?
In document 1, where it says in the second paragraph, Europe will have the right to take part in settlement of America.
Kamaya, why don't you jump in and tell us about the graph? What kind of information did you get from the graph?
To add on to what Giovanni said about the Republicans, like basically disapproving of them involving themselves in the League of Nations, um, like when most of the senators were Republican, they were less likely to vote in support of President Wilson. So that means they disagreed with the League of Nations.
Mhm. Kamaya, I want to push yours and everybody else's thinking on the graph. Why would Republicans disapprove of a Democrat president's policies?
Because they're on two different sides, so they have two different beliefs in what America should look like.
Exactly. Is it a good reason? No, but it's a reason why they might not approve of the League of Nations. How does document 3 fit into this conversation? How does document 3 fit into this conversation? Go and share in the chat. What does document 3 tell us? So again, we're sharing in the chat. How does document 3 fit into this conversation? Go back to your SIG statement if you need to. Thank you, Kamaya. Again, make sure we're sharing in the chat. Awesome. Sierra, do you mind unmuting and building on what you shared in the chat?
Sure. I said that document 3 shows that they felt that the British were going to get involved because it did say like something about like how what can I say? It said like the British like they didn't want the British to get involved like they did with like India and stuff like that.
Exactly. The United States wants nothing to do with Great Britain. I'm going to pause our discourse there. And before I transition us to our exit ticket, I just want to remind you that today in college readiness, you guys are going to be working on letters of recommendation. So please make sure you go to college readiness. If you have any concerns about that, please let myself or Miss Catlett know. Today's just a really important day in terms of getting yourselves set up with a letter of recommendation for everybody. I've already seen the list, so I know who's asking. And by I have concerns, the concerns are not, I don't want to go. So please make sure you go to college readiness. Again, I cannot stress enough how important that class is. So please make sure you are putting the right time and effort so that we can get this stuff done. The earlier you get it done and the better it's done, the better off you'll be in the long run. Okay, we're going to go ahead and transition to the exit ticket. What do we have tomorrow morning? Share in the chat. What do we have tomorrow morning? What is starting promptly at 8:03? Yes, thank you, Leah. It is a quiz. So make sure you are here promptly on time so you can get that quiz, get all the time that you want. If you come late, I will not give you extra time later. You will have from 8:03 to 8:10 to get the quiz done. That is the only time you will be getting. Okay, we'll go ahead and transition to the exit ticket. I'm gonna be, thank you guys. I love the love that I get from you guys. It's great. Go ahead and transition to the exit ticket. And once you submit your exit ticket in the classwork, you are free to go. Great job today. If you have an issue with delayed buses, you will have, like, if you are not in class, I'll give you an opportunity to make it up. I'm just saying that you only have a 7-minute window to get the quiz done. You will only get 7 minutes to do the quiz. So if you come to class late, delayed buses are a reasonable excuse to, like, make up the quiz later is what I'm saying. Okay. Work on the exit ticket. Chat me if you have any questions.